Hey guys, welcome to my first tutorial. We are going to be doing a Halloween splatter nail art tutorial. Of course, you don't have to do a splatter with Halloween colors. You can do a splatter for any time of the year with any colors that you want. I just thought it would be fun to do like a Halloween one, and I wanted to get a tutorial done, so I thought let's just put the two together. So the first thing I want to mention is make sure that you have all the supplies and everything you're going to need before you start your splatter. The worst thing in the world is to get halfway done or partially done and then realize that you're missing something that you need. I also want to mention that you may need to do some trial and error when you're doing splatter manis. Some polishes are going to work better than others. There's no restriction on the types of polishes you can use. Obviously glitter won't work, but any finish that you want to use I would say is fine. Jellies and sheer polishes are going to be the best to use because they're kind of sheer and they're not going to get completely opaque on your nail. You could still use them if you wanted to, but I don't think you're going to get the best results using those polishes. But really, you just kind of want to make sure that you're using polishes that are very opaque and that will cover your nail very easily. Some are going to splatter better than others. If it's too thin, it's just going to be really watery and runny. If it's too thick, you're going to get more blobs instead of splatters. So play around with what you have. Try to find, I would maybe start with like, you know, good formula creams to really help you get the best splatter effect on your nail. Okay, so that's all I really wanted to start with. So let's get into the things you're going to need. Obviously, polish. In this tutorial, we're going to be using OPI Alpine Snow, OPI Black Onyx, but any white or black polish will do. We're also using SunfulColors Citrine. OPI, do you have this color in Stock-holm? And Color Club, the lime starts here. Also guys, I'm going to list all the polishes and everything I'm using down below, so if you missed anything, please make sure you check that out. You also want to make sure that you have scissors. I just have like a little pair of like nail scissors. I find these much easier to use as opposed to using like regular scissors because they're curved and they're smaller. And you also need a straw. I use a pack of little coffee stir straws that I got at the grocery store. Came in a big bag like this. And you can use any size straw you want, but the smaller the straw, the more splatter effect you're going to get and less of a blob effect you're going to get. If you use those really like big straws you get from McDonald's or something, you're not going to get really a splatter. You're going to get more blobs. So it's just going to depend on the type of art that you're looking for. I prefer the more splatter kind, so I use these. The last thing you're going to need is optional. You don't have to use this, but I would recommend, and that is Scotch tape. I like to tape off my cuticles because it does make cleanup a lot easier. You don't have to, but your cleanup will take a lot longer if you don't use it. Okay, so the first step is easy. You're just going to paint your nails with your base color. In this case, we have used OPI Alpine Snow. It's really up to you what color base you want to use. I do suggest, though, trying to stick with as much of a neutral base as possible so your colors can really pop. Got 2 coats on. So once your base is good and dry, then you're going to come in and tape off your nails. So this is how it looks. There's a lot of different ways that you can tape off your cuticles. Again, this might be trial and error. You kind of need to find what works for you. So I'm just going to show you the things that I've done. This is the way I found that works best for me. You're going to use 2 pieces of Scotch tape. So the first piece you're going to use, you're just going to get as close to your cuticle as possible. Like that, and that's just to tape off the back edge, and you're just going to wrap that around your finger. Then we come in with our second piece, and this is going to be a little tricky to get in frame, so I apologize if this is a little awkward, but you're going to come in and you want to get this piece of tape as close to your nail as possible. So I come in and I am just getting as close as I can. Then you're going to wrap the tape around underneath. And when you come back up, I always kind of pull it up a little so that way you can get the closest edge that you can. I did this a little tight, like I said, a little awkward, but you can see there what I did. So I got it really as close to my nail to cover up as much skin as I can. Then underneath you kind of have some leftover, so I just kind of push this all together to close it up. Now the next thing you need to do is really figure out what color order you want to put your polishes in. It is going to matter what order you do it in, because whatever color you use first is going to get covered up the most. So how I typically do it is my darker colors I try to do first, and my lighter colors I try to do last, because the lighter colors are going to be the ones that, you know, need to show up the most. So this hand I've already done, and I haven't done cleanup yet, but I kind of played around with the color order a little bit. And so for me, I think the best way to do it is we're going to do orange, then purple, then green, and then black is the very end. Now, I know you just said, well, you just said to do the dark colors first, and black's the darkest you can get. Black is like the only exception to the rule, I think, because black is kind of like the finishing touch. Just, it kind of ties it all in together. So you need to prep all your bottles first. So to do that, you just need to unscrew the lid and wipe off as much excess polish as you can, and then you're going to lay the brush aside somewhere where it's not going to get in your way or cause you any problems. The step we probably should have done first was cut our straws, but I kind of skipped it, so we'll just do it now. So you can cut this in thirds if you want, or in half. Do not use this whole straw to dip the polish in. It's way too long. So I just cut them in half. Couple of things I want to mention before we get started. The first is when you're doing your splatter, it will be quicker and more effective if you do just one color at a time. So since we're doing orange first, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do orange on all of my fingers. Then I'm going to come in and do purple, and so on and so forth. If you do it, you can do each nail at a time, but unless you're just experimenting with colors, I really wouldn't suggest doing that, just because it's very time consuming. Here's my straw. Now when we dunk it in, you don't want to like dip it all the way down the bottle. You really just want to try to get just, you know, just a little bit like that. You don't need tons and tons. And then you're even going to come in on the outside and wipe off some of that polish. So you can see in there, hopefully you can see, that we have a little bit of polish, and then you're just going to blow that onto your finger. And you want to hold it fairly close to your nail. If it's too far away, you're going to miss your nail. If it's too close, it's going to be a blob. So just a decent, you know, just a little far, not super far, but not super close. And you want to just do like a quick breath when you blow it, when you blow the polish through. Okay, so that's about like what one is going to look like. I typically need to do 2 to 4 dips and blows, if you will, on each of my fingers to get the achievement that I want. Okay, so see, like that was a really good one. That one, we got lots on the nail. So I don't want to do a third dip because I'm afraid I'm going to get too much. So what you can do is you can just come in with the polish on the side, and I see kind of like a little bald spot. You can just kind of fake it. You don't want it to be perfect though, because if it's perfect, you know, the whole point is for this to be like a messy, you know, kind of splatter. Again, you don't want to be super far. Okay, that was a nice one. We got some real good coverage with that one. But you can see, I mean, it's just going to be different every time. You just want to make sure that you're breathing quickly through the straw and you're getting the extra off, because if you have too much polish on your straw, it's going to make a mess and not come out very good on your nails. Now that we're done with the orange, I'm going to put the lid back on because you obviously want this to be covered up. Alright, so now we're going to move on to purple. So now you're going to get a new straw. Don't want to dip orange in, and we're just going to do the same exact thing. Okay, like see that one? I got it all on the tape and hardly any on my nail. That's why sometimes you might have to do this 3-4 times before you really get the amount of polish you want on your nail, because it's kind of hard to control. That was a better one. You can also control how much polish you get by moving your finger. If you want more of the polish to be up on the top in this corner, tilt your finger that way. If you just want it in the center, just blow straight on the center. So the way you position your nail will also affect your splatter design. Another thing I just thought of I want to mention is, you know, depending on how many colors you're using is going to depend on how much you want on your nail. If you're only doing one color, you might only put a little bit on because you don't want a ton. And the same when you're using multiple colors. You don't want to completely cover the nail because you're using so many different colors. So you do want to be mindful of how many colors you're using, and, you know, because if you put a ton on of all these colors, it's going to not look good. And then we're just going to repeat the same thing. So I'm just going to fast forward again. Okay, so now that we've got 3 colors on here, you can see it gets rather, you know, the nail is pretty full. Now, when I do my black, since I already have so much polish on my nail, I'm only going to blow the polish 1 or 2 times onto my nail because I don't want that much black, because it will cover up everything we just did. The other thing that's really cool about doing a splatter mani is that it's messy. It's supposed to look messy. So it's hard to mess this up, just because no matter what you do, it's going to look cool. So now that we're done with this, now you can come in with your tape and you're going to come on the back of your hand. And I just realized, I went this whole time, I just realized I didn't finish putting tape on my pinky. Oh well. But you're going to come in and you're just going to come on the back with your scissors and cut all the way up. So then once you have that cut, you can just come in and you can peel off. You can see all that polish you would have had to clean up now is on the tape instead. So for our accent nail, I mean, there's like a million different things you could do to try to have a Halloween accent nail. I am just going to do some nail tattoos. So I just got these at Walgreens. It's the Kiss brand. It has the number up here on it. That just may be it. I'll list it down below. But like I said, I just got these at Walgreens. And they came like this, so they're already like all nice and done just to use individually for your nails, which is why I really liked these, because there's all these different designs and you can just use them for a whole manicure, accents, whatever you want. So I've got my thumb on my other hand here, so I wanted to use the haunted house. There are a few different ways that you can apply nail tattoos. You do need water, obviously, and you just need a little bit. So you do have to peel there's a plastic cover on it, and first you peel the plastic cover off. And you can either dunk this in the water and get it wet and then apply it, or you can apply it dry and then come in with like a wet cotton or something and come in and apply it that way. I've done it both ways, and I prefer to do it with when you just peel off the plastic and you put it on dry and then use like a wet paper towel or something on top of it. I feel like it's easier to place, so I'm just gonna place that there. And I like these too because you can see the image on the back. It's like that for all of these. You can see the images on the back, so you can see how you're placing it. So it's a nice guide. Just using a little cotton, and it's really, I've kind of got it really soaking wet, but it doesn't really matter. So then you're just going to push it down to seal it in. So now this should just peel right off. Yep. Okay, so it's a little not exactly where I want it, but the good thing is you can just kind of push that down. Oh, that looks cute. Okay, like that, see? So then I'll come in obviously and just do my cleanup and get rid of the stuff from around it. But so now I've got a haunted house nail. That was super easy to use. So here we are. We are all done. Clean up, top coat, everything. I'll include some pictures as well. But a couple things I want to just point out. I'm putting on some Essie apricot cuticle oil right now. While I'm doing this, I wanted to give you a few more tips. One, after you're done with your splatter, I would let your manicure dry for about 15 to 20 minutes before you put on top coat so you don't smear anything. And when you put on your top coat, put on a really thick layer of top coat, because you know, you can get some like bigger beads and, you know, little blobs of polish. And when you do that, you know, it's not exactly even. So there we go. I think they're super fun and I really enjoy doing these. I think these colors look really good together, and it is a little busy and a little out there, but I think that's what I love so much about this manicure, because it's Halloween and it's fun and it's different, and I think this is the perfect kind of manicure to do for Halloween. So give me a thumbs up if you guys liked the tutorial. Let me know if you have any suggestions for any other ideas for tutorials. I really want to try to do more of these, so I'd like to know what you guys would like to see in terms of my techniques or ideas or whatever I do. So please leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. And don't forget, my Instagram and all that fun stuff is listed down below for you guys. And until next time, peace, love, and polish, and fun Halloween manis too. Bye, guys.